The unexpected guardian. The vastness of space had always called to Zora. Even as a child, she would spend hours gazing at the stars, imagining the wonders that lay beyond Earth's atmosphere. Now, at 16, she stood on the observation deck of Harmony Station, the first human-built orbital platform to host multiple alien species. Her dark eyes reflected the twinkling lights of distant stars and passing ships, a sight that still filled her with awe despite having lived on the station for the past year. Zara's parents, both xenobiologists, had been among the first humans selected to work alongside alien researchers. Their goal was to foster understanding and cooperation between Earth and the galactic community. For Zara, it meant a life of constant wonder and new experiences, but also of being an outsider among outsiders. As she watched a sleek Araxian cruiser dock at the station, a familiar tingling sensation began to creep up her spine. Zara closed her eyes, focusing on the feeling. It was something she'd experienced since childhood, a sort of sixth sense that allowed her to perceive energies and intentions that others couldn't. She'd learned to keep it secret, knowing how people, human and alien alike, viewed those who were different. Admiring the view, little one. A gravelly voice interrupted her thoughts. Zara turned to see Kexley, a towering insectoid vreen, his compound eyes glittering with amusement. Despite his intimidating appearance, Kexley had become something of a mentor to Zara, always eager to share his vast knowledge of the galaxy. "Just thinking," Zara replied with a smile. "There's so much out there we still don't understand." Kexley's mandibles clicked in what Zara had come to recognize as laughter. "Oh, young one, if only you knew how right you are. The galaxy is full of mysteries, even to those of us who have explored it for centuries." A commotion near the docking bay caught their attention. A group of Araxians, their scaled skin shimmering under the station's lights, were engaged in a heated discussion with several human officials. Zara's parents were among them, their faces etched with concern. "What's going on?" Zara asked, her sixth sense prickling with tension. Kexley's antennae twitched. "It seems our Araxian friends have made an unexpected discovery. Come, let's get a closer look." As they approached, Zara could make out snippets of the conversation. The words ancient, powerful, and dangerous were repeated often. Her father noticed her and waved her over. "Zara, honey, I need you to go back to our quarters," he said, his voice strained. "We might be dealing with a sensitive situation here." But Zara couldn't move. Her entire body was humming with energy, drawn to something aboard the Araxian ship. Without thinking, she took a step forward, then another. "Zara, what are you doing?" her mother called out, alarm evident in her voice. The Araxians turned to look at her, their reptilian eyes narrowing. One of them, adorned with elaborate jewelry that marked him as their leader, spoke in a hissing whisper. "The human child. She senses it." Before anyone could stop her, Zara broke into a run, heading straight for the Araxian ship. She could hear shouts behind her, but they seemed distant, unimportant. All that mattered was reaching the source of the energy that called to her. She slipped past the bewildered Araxian guards and into the ship's cargo hold. There, in a massive containment field, floated what appeared to be an egg, but it was like no egg Zara had ever seen. It was easily the size of a car, its surface swirling with patterns of light that pulsed in rhythm with Zora's own heartbeat. As she approached, the egg began to glow brighter. Cracks appeared on its surface, spreading rapidly. The Araxians and humans burst into the cargo hold just as the egg shattered, revealing a creature that defied description. It was reptilian in nature, but with an intelligence in its eyes that spoke of something far beyond a simple animal. Iridescent scales covered its body, shifting colors in mesmerizing patterns. Wings, not yet fully formed, were tucked against its sides. But most striking of all was its size. Even newly hatched, it was larger than a horse. The creature's eyes locked onto Zara, and in that moment, she felt a connection form between them, a bond that transcended species and space itself. She reached out a hand, and the creature lowered its massive head to meet her touch. "Impossible," the Orcsian leader breathed. "The galactic beasts are nothing but legend, and even if they did exist, they certainly wouldn't bond with a human." Kexley stepped forward, his usual jovial demeanor replaced by reverence. "Not legend, my friend. History. The galactic beasts were said to be the guardians of our galaxy, created by an ancient race long before any of our civilizations arose. They were thought to have vanished eons ago." Zara barely heard them. She was lost in the eyes of the creature, feeling its thoughts and emotions as if they were her own. She saw flashes of stars being born, of planets forming, of life spreading across the galaxy. And she saw darkness too, a threat looming on the horizon, one that her beast, had been created to face. "Her name is Lumina," Zara said softly, the knowledge coming to her as naturally as breathing. "And she's here to protect us all." The cargo hold erupted in chaos. The Orcsians demanded the beast be turned over to them for study. The humans argued for Earth's right to be involved, given Zara's apparent connection. And through it all, Kexley watched with growing concern, knowing that the emergence of a galactic beast would send shockwaves through the galactic community. In the midst of the argument, Lumina let out a roar that shook the entire ship. Everyone fell silent, turning to stare at the magnificent creature. Lumina's wings unfurled, revealing their full span, easily filling the cargo hold. She lowered her body, inviting Zara to climb onto her back. Without hesitation, Zara vaulted onto Lumina, settling between her shoulder blades as if she'd done it 1,000 times before. She could feel the beast's muscles coiling, preparing to move. "Wait," Zara's father called out. "Where are you going?" Zara looked down at her parents, seeing the fear and confusion in their eyes. But beneath that, she saw pride and love. They had always supported her, even when they didn't understand her. Now she would need that support more than ever. "I don't know exactly," Zara admitted, "but Lumina says there are others like her out there, sleeping, waiting, and something dark is coming. We need to wake them, to prepare." The Orcsian leader stepped forward, his earlier disdain replaced by a grudging respect. "You speak as if you understand this creature, human child. How is this possible?" Zara shook her head. "I don't know. I've always been able to sense things others couldn't. But with Lumina, it's like we're two parts of the same whole." Kexley chittered softly. The ancient texts spoke of guardians, beings chosen by the beasts to guide them. "It seems, young Zara, that you may be more special than any of us realized." Lumina growled softly, conveying a sense of urgency. Zara nodded, understanding. "We have to go now, but we'll be back. Earth, the whole galaxy, will need to be ready for what's coming." With a powerful leap, Lumina launched herself out of the cargo hold and into the vastness of space. Zara clung to her, marveling at how she could breathe and survive in the vacuum. As they soared away from Harmony Station, Zara saw her past life shrinking behind her. Ahead lay adventure, danger, and a destiny larger than she could have ever imagined. As the stars streaked by, Zara felt a mix of excitement and fear. She was leaving behind everything she knew, embarking on a journey to save a galaxy she was only beginning to understand. But with Lumina by her side, she felt ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The unlikely pair, a human girl and an ancient galactic beast, vanished into the depths of space, leaving behind a stunned group of humans and aliens. Little did they know that this was just the beginning of a saga that would reshape the very fabric of galactic society, with humanity at its center. As Harmony Station faded from view, Zara leaned close to Lumina's scales, whispering, "Where to first, girl?" Lumina's response came not in words, but in a series of images and feelings. Zara saw a distant world, shrouded in mist and mystery. She felt the presence of another beast, slumbering deep beneath an alien ocean. "All right then," Zara grinned, her earlier trepidation giving way to determination. Let's go wake up your friend." And with that, Lumina accelerated, carrying Zara towards their first great adventure, and the first step in preparing the galaxy for the looming threat that only they could sense. The age of the galactic beasts had begun anew, with a human girl as their most unlikely champion. Whispers of power. Zara and Lumina streaked through the vastness of space, their bond growing stronger with each passing moment. As they journeyed towards the distant world Lumina had shown her, Zara marveled at how quickly her life had changed. Just days ago, she had been an ordinary teenager on a space station. Now she was riding an ancient, mythical creature across the galaxy. As they approached the misty planet, Zara felt a mixture of excitement and apprehension. "So, there's another one of you down there?" she asked, her thoughts easily reaching Lumina. The galactic beast sent back a series of images and emotions. Zara saw a massive creature, serpentine in form, slumbering beneath towering waves. She felt an overwhelming sense of age and power. "Wow," Zara breathed. "Your friend's been asleep for a long time, hasn't he?" Lumina rumbled in agreement as they began their descent through the planet's thick atmosphere. As they broke through the cloud cover, Zara gasped at the sight below. The entire world was covered in a vast, turbulent ocean. Massive waves crashed against each other, and in the distance, Zara could see what looked like a whirlpool large enough to swallow entire continents. "Is that where we're headed?" Zara asked, her voice tinged with awe and a hint of fear. Lumina's affirmative response came with a surge of reassurance. The beast would keep her safe, no matter what. As they approached the massive whirlpool, Zara noticed movement in the water. At first, she thought it was just the chaotic motion of the waves. But as they drew closer, she realized the truth. The ocean was alive with creatures. Bioluminescent beings of all shapes and sizes darted through the water, some as small as her hand, others rivaling Lumina in size. Suddenly, a massive tentacle erupted from the water, reaching for them. Lumina dodged effortlessly, but Zara's heart raced. What was that? Before Lumina could respond, more tentacles burst forth, followed by a colossal body. It was like an octopus, but with dozens of arms and a body the size of a small moon. Its skin pulsed with patterns of light, and its enormous eyes fixed on Zara and Lumina. To Zara's surprise, she felt no malice from the creature. Instead, she sensed curiosity and recognition. A booming voice filled her mind, not in words, but in concepts and emotions. The giant creature was a guardian, tasked with protecting the slumbering beast beneath the waves. It had been waiting for them. "We're here to wake your charge," Zara projected, hoping the creature could understand her. "The galaxy needs the galactic beasts again." The guardian's eyes blinked slowly, and Zara felt a sense of acknowledgement. The tentacles parted, creating a path to the center of the whirlpool. Lumina dove into the opening without hesitation. Zara clung tightly as they plunged beneath the waves, marveling at how she could breathe underwater. They descended deeper and deeper, the pressure increasing but somehow not affecting them. At the bottom of the whirlpool, they found a vast cavern. And there, coiled in slumber, was the serpentine beast Lumina had shown her. Its scales gleamed with an inner light, casting eerie shadows throughout the underwater chamber. Zara slid off Lumina's back, her feet touching the cavern floor. She approached the sleeping beast, feeling a pull similar to what she had experienced with Lumina, but different. Where Lumina felt like an extension of herself, this creature felt ancient and alien. "How do we wake it?" Zara asked. Lumina nudged her forward, and Zara understood. She reached out, placing her hand on the beast's scales. Immediately, a jolt of energy surged through her. Images flooded her mind. Stars exploding, galaxies colliding, civilizations rising and falling. She saw the beasts in their prime, shepherding life across the cosmos, and she saw why they had gone into hibernation, a great darkness that had threatened to consume everything. The beast's eyes snapped open, glowing with an inner fire. It uncoiled, its massive body filling the cavern. Zara stumbled back, overwhelmed by the creature's sheer presence. A voice, deep and resonant, filled her mind. "Young guardian, you have awakened me from my long slumber. The darkness approaches once more, doesn't it?" Zara nodded, finding her voice. "Yes, Lumina and I. We can feel it coming. We need your help." The serpentine beast regarded her for a long moment. A human child as a guardian. The galaxy has changed indeed. "I am Nautilus, beast of the cosmic tides, and I will join your cause." As Nautilus spoke, the cavern began to shake. The ocean above churned violently, and Zara sensed a great shift in the planet's energy. "We must leave," Nautilus commanded. "This world has served its purpose as my resting place, but it cannot contain my awakened power." Zara quickly climbed back onto Lumina, and together they followed Nautilus as he surged upward. They burst from the ocean's surface, water cascading off their massive forms. The guardian creature watched from below, its task complete. As they rose into the planet's upper atmosphere, Zara saw the ocean beginning to recede. Islands were forming, continents taking shape. "The planet," she gasped. "It's changing." "Life will flourish here now," Nautilus explained. "It is the way of the beasts. Where we sleep, potential gathers. Where we wake, that potential is realized." Zara marveled at the transformation below, but a nagging worry pulled at her. "Nautilus, how many more of you are there? And do we have time to wake them all before the darkness comes?" The serpentine beast's expression turned grim. "There were once thousands of us, young guardian. Now, I fear we are few. As for time..." He trailed off, his gaze turning to the stars. "The darkness moves faster than we anticipated. Already, it spreads its influence across the galaxy." Lumina growled, a sound filled with determination. Zara felt her beast's resolve and nodded in agreement. "Then we'll just have to work faster. Where to next?" Before Nautilus could respond, a flash of light caught their attention. A ship appeared, sleek and predatory in design. Zara recognized it immediately. Araxian. "Looks like we've got company," she muttered. The ship's communication system crackled to life, and a familiar voice filled the air. It was the Araxian leader from Harmony Station. "Human child," he hissed. "You have stolen what rightfully belongs to the Araxian Empire. Return the beast immediately, or face the consequences." Zara felt a surge of anger, both from herself and from Lumina. "The beasts don't belong to anyone," she shouted back. "They're here to protect all of us." The Araxian leader's laugh was cold and cruel. "Protect? Oh, you naive little thing. With the power of the galactic beasts, the Araxian Empire will rule the galaxy, and no human child will stand in our way." Weapons ports opened on the Araxian ship, energy weapons charging. Zara's heart raced, fear threatening to overwhelm her. But then she felt Lumina's presence in her mind, calm and reassuring. And beside them, Nautilus radiated an aura of ancient power. "You dare threaten a guardian and 2 galactic beasts." Nautilus's voice boomed, not just over the communications channel, but directly into the minds of everyone present. "You know not what forces you toy with, Araxian." The massive serpentine beast began to glow, energy crackling along his scales. Beside him, Lumina's wings spread wide, starlight glinting off her iridescent form. Zara felt power building within herself as well, a wellspring of energy she hadn't known she possessed. As the Araxian ship opened fire, Zara raised her hand instinctively. A shield of pure energy sprang into existence, deflecting the attack harmlessly into space. Her eyes widened in surprise. Did I do that?" There was no time to ponder her new abilities. The battle had begun, and the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. As beasts and starships clashed in the skies above a newborn world, Zara realized that her journey had only just begun, and that the greatest challenges still lay ahead. The awakening. The vastness of space erupted into a dazzling display of power as Lumina, Nautilus, and Zara faced off against the Araxian warship. Energy beams lanced through the void, only to be deflected by shimmering shields of pure cosmic force. Zara, still reeling from the discovery of her newfound abilities, clung to Lumina as the galactic beast weaved through the barrage with impossible grace. "We need to end this quickly," Zora communicated to her companions. "Every moment we waste here is time we're not using to prepare for the coming darkness." Nautilus, his serpentine form undulating through space, responded with a surge of agreement. "Young Guardian, combine your power with ours. Together, we can incapacitate the Araxians without destroying them." Zara nodded, closing her eyes and reaching deep within herself. She felt the cosmic energy flowing through her, intertwining with the ancient power of the beasts. With a thought, she projected a massive field of energy that enveloped the Araxian ship. The warship's engines sputtered and died, its weapons falling silent. Zara could sense the confusion and fear emanating from the Araxians on board. "Your ship is disabled," she broadcasted to them, her voice carrying an authority that surprised even her. "We don't want to fight you. The entire galaxy is in danger, and we need to work together, not against each other." For a long moment, there was silence. Then, the Araxian leader's voice crackled through the comm system, his earlier arrogance replaced by a mixture of awe and resignation. Perhaps we have been hasty in our judgments, human child. What is this danger you speak of?" Zara exchanged glances with Lumina and Nautilus. How much should they reveal? But before she could respond, a new presence made itself known. A ship materialized nearby, its design unlike anything Zara had ever seen. It seemed to shimmer and shift, as if it wasn't entirely part of this reality. A melodious voice filled their minds. "Greetings, guardians and beasts of old. I am Syra, last of the Luminae. We have much to discuss." Zara's eyes widened. The Luminae were thought to be nothing more than a myth, an ancient race said to have seeded life throughout the galaxy. Yet here was one, apparently very real and very much alive. "Come," Syra continued. "There is a sanctuary nearby where we can speak freely. Bring the Araxians as well. It is time for the galaxy to know the truth." With a gesture from Syra, all of them, beasts, humans, Araxians, and the mysterious Luminae, were enveloped in a soft light. When it faded, they found themselves in a vast chamber that seemed to exist outside of normal space. The walls shimmered with star maps and flowing streams of data. Syra stepped forward, her form humanoid but composed of swirling light. "Welcome to the Nexus, a place between spaces where the currents of time and reality converge." The Araxian leader, now looking significantly humbled, spoke up. "What is the meaning of all this? Why have you brought us here?" Syra's expression turned grave. "Because the greatest threat our galaxy has ever faced is awakening, and we are woefully unprepared." With a wave of her hand, the star maps on the walls coalesced into a three-dimensional representation of the galaxy. Dark tendrils could be seen creeping inward from the outer rim, consuming everything in their path. "This," Syra explained, "is the Void, an ancient force of uncreation that seeks to unmake all that exists. Eons ago, my people created the galactic beasts to combat this threat, with guardians chosen from among the younger races to guide them." Zara stepped forward, her mind reeling from the revelations. But if the beasts were created to fight the Void, why did they go into hibernation? Why leave the galaxy unprotected for so long? Syra turned to her, a sad smile on her luminous face. "Because, young Zora, the battle against the Void nearly destroyed everything. The beasts and their guardians managed to push it back, but at a terrible cost. Most of my kind perished, and the galaxy was left in chaos. It was decided that the beasts would sleep, gathering strength, until the day they were needed again. And that day has come," Nautilus rumbled, his massive form somehow fitting comfortably in the interdimensional space. Syra nodded. "Indeed, the Void stirs once more, and this time, it threatens not just our galaxy, but all of existence. The Orcsian leader, who had been listening intently, spoke up. If this threat is so great, why choose a human child as a guardian? Surely there are more advanced species better suited to the task. Zara bristled at the implied insult, but Syra merely laughed. The guardians are not chosen for their technological advancement or military might. They are chosen for their potential, their adaptability, and their spirit. Humanity, for all its flaws, possesses these qualities in abundance. She turned to Zara, her eyes shining with something akin to pride. You, Zara, represent the best of what humanity can be. Your compassion, your curiosity, your unwavering determination in the face of the unknown. These are the qualities that will be needed in the battles to come. Zara felt a weight settle on her shoulders, the true magnitude of her responsibility finally sinking in. But I'm just one person. How can I possibly make a difference against something like the void? Lumina nuzzled her gently, sending waves of reassurance through their bond. Syra smiled. You are not alone, Zara. The beasts are with you, and soon you will find other guardians. Each species in the galaxy has a role to play in the coming conflict. She turned to the Orcsian leader. Even you, who sought to control the beasts for your own gain, have a part in this. Your people's technological prowess and strategic minds will be invaluable. The Orcsian seemed taken aback, but there was a new light of understanding in his eyes. We will need time to prepare our forces, to explain this to our people. Syra nodded. Time is short, but not yet gone. Spread the word among your kind. The age of petty conflicts and imperial ambitions is over. Unite, or face annihilation. As the gravity of the situation settled over them all, Zara felt a surge of determination. She may not have asked for this responsibility, but she would face it head-on. What's our next move? She asked, her voice steady and resolute. Syra's form began to fade, as if she was expending great energy to maintain her presence. Seek out the other beasts and their guardians. Build alliances among the races of the galaxy, and prepare for the void grows stronger with each passing moment. As the Lumini vanished, the nexus around them began to dissolve. Zara found herself once again atop Lumina, floating in space alongside Nautilus and the Orcsian ship. The Orcsian leader's voice came through the comm system, all traces of hostility gone. Human. Zara, we owe you an apology and our gratitude. The Orcsian Empire stands ready to join your cause. Zara smiled, feeling the glimmer of hope. Thank you. We'll need every ally we can get. As the Orcsian ship departed, its mission now one of warning and preparation, Zara turned her gaze to the stars. Somewhere out there, other beasts were sleeping, other guardians waiting to be awakened. And beyond that, the creeping darkness of the void threatened everything. Well, she said to Lumina and Nautilus, a hint of her old humor returning despite the weight of their task. I guess we've got our work cut out for us. Who's ready to save the galaxy? With a roar of determination from Lumina and a rumble of agreement from Nautilus, they set off into the cosmic deep. The fate of all existence hung in the balance, and an unlikely trio, a human girl, a winged beast, and a cosmic serpent, were the galaxy's best hope for survival. As they soared through the star-studded void, Zara couldn't help but feel a mix of terror and exhilaration. The greatest adventure of her life, of any life, had only just begun. Defying expectations, as Zara, Lumina, and Nautilus journeyed through the cosmos, word of their mission spread like wildfire across the galaxy. Some dismissed the tales as mere fantasy, but others recognized the truth in the warnings. Planets that had been locked in centuries-old conflicts suddenly found common ground in the face of this greater threat. The Orcsians, true to their word, became staunch allies, their advanced technology proving invaluable in tracking the void's encroachment. Zara's days blurred together in a whirlwind of activity. They awakened more beasts, Solara, a being of pure stellar energy, Terravex, a planet-sized creature capable of manipulating gravity itself, and nebulos, a gaseous entity that could traverse the space between galaxies. With each awakening, Zora's powers grew, her connection to the cosmic fabric of reality deepening. But it wasn't just beasts they were finding. Other guardians emerged as well, each chosen from a different species, each bringing unique perspectives and abilities to their cause. There was Krell, a crystalline being from a silicon-based world, whose logical mind helped strategize their movements. Zaraxa, a gas giant dweller with the ability to perceive quantum probabilities, proved invaluable in predicting the Void's next moves. And Lex, an AI construct from a long-dead civilization, provided them with vast stores of ancient knowledge. As their alliance grew, so did the challenges they faced. The Void was not a mindless force, but a malevolent intelligence that actively worked to thwart their efforts. Entire star systems would vanish overnight, replaced by expanses of nothingness that defied the laws of physics. Civilizations that had stood for millennia crumbled in days, their people twisted into shadowy servants of the encroaching darkness. It was during one such crisis that Zara truly began to understand the scope of her role as a guardian. They had received a distress call from a planet on the outer rim, one of the first in the path of the Void's advance. As they approached, Zara's heart sank. Half the planet was already consumed, a perfect hemisphere of absolute nothingness eating away at reality itself. "We're too late," Krell observed, his crystalline form glittering with reflected starlight. "The planet is lost." But Zara refused to accept defeat. "No," she said, her voice firm. "As long as there's even one person left to save, we don't give up." She closed her eyes, reaching out with her senses in a way that would have been impossible for her just months ago. There, in the chaos of a dying world, she felt it. A flicker of life, defiant in the face of oblivion. "Lumina, Nautilus," she called out. "I need your strength." The beasts responded immediately, cosmic energy flowing through their bond into Zora. She raised her hands, and reality itself seemed to bend to her will. A shield of pure energy formed around the remaining half of the planet, halting the Void's advance. "Lex," Zara grunted, the strain of holding back the nothingness evident in her voice. "Can you calculate a way to reverse this?" The A's response was instantaneous. "Affirmative. By inverting the quantum field and applying a tachyon pulse at precisely the right frequency, we may be able to restore the consumed matter. However, the energy requirements are substantial." Zara nodded, understanding. "Solara, we need you." The stellar beast moved into position, its body a miniature sun pulsing with barely contained power. At Zara's signal, it released a burst of energy, unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly at first, but with increasing speed, the nothingness began to recede. Matter coalesced out of the void, mountains and oceans were forming, as if time itself was being rewound. When it was over, Zara collapsed onto Lumina's back, utterly drained. But a smile played on her lips as she saw the restored planet below, its people emerging from shelter to gaze in awe at their saviors. Krell's normally impassive face showed a hint of what might have been admiration. "I miscalculated. You have exceeded all logical expectations, Zara of Earth." Zara chuckled weakly. "That's kind of our thing, isn't it? Humans, I mean. We're pretty good at beating the odds." As news of their impossible victory spread, hope blossomed across the galaxy. Species that had once looked down on humanity as primitive now sought Earth's alliance. Zara found herself not just a guardian of the beasts, but a symbol of resilience for all sentient life. But even as they celebrated this victory, a shadow loomed. Lex's emotionless voice cut through the moment of triumph. "Analysis complete. The Void's rate of expansion has increased by 200% in the last solar cycle. At the current rate, it will reach the galactic core within 1 standard year." The weight of their task settled once again on Zora's shoulders. They had won a battle, but the war was far from over. As she looked out at the vast expanse of stars, each one home to countless lives depending on them. Zara made a silent vow. No matter the cost, no matter how impossible the odds, she would find a way to save them all. With renewed determination, she turned to her fellow guardians and the assembled beasts. All right, team. We've got a galaxy to save, and not a lot of time to do it. Who's got ideas? As they began to plan their next move, Zara couldn't help but marvel at the strange twists of fate that had brought her here. From a curious girl on a space station to the linchpin in the battle for all existence, it was a journey she never could have imagined. But as she felt the unwavering support of Lumina and her other allies, she knew that together, they just might pull off the impossible. The stars beckoned, and the greatest challenge of their lives awaited. With a gesture from Zara, their unlikely armada set off into the cosmic deep, ready to defy expectations once again and face the void head-on. A new galactic order. The final confrontation loomed on the horizon like a storm of cosmic proportions. Zara stood on the bridge of the celestial Aegis, a massive ship constructed through the combined efforts of every allied species in the galaxy. Around her, representatives from 100 worlds worked in harmony, their differences set aside in the face of annihilation. Through the ship's viewing portal, Zara could see the assembled might of their forces. Thousands of vessels, from nimble fighters to city-sized dreadnoughts, formed a barrier between the approaching void and the heart of the galaxy. And at the forefront, the galactic beasts hovered in formation, their ancient power a beacon of hope in the encroaching darkness. "Status report," Zara called out, her voice steady despite the nervous energy thrumming through her veins. Lexa's holographic form materialized beside her. "The void's advance has slowed, but it still approaches at an alarming rate. Our simulations suggest we have approximately 6 hours before it reaches our position." Zara nodded, her mind racing through the plan they had formulated. It was risky, bordering on insane, but it was the best chance they had. "Any word from our infiltration team?" she asked. This time, it was Zaraxa who answered, her gaseous form shimmering with agitation. "Nothing yet. The quantum fluctuations at the edge of the void are interfering with communications, but if anyone can succeed in that hellscape, it's Krell and his team." Zara allowed herself a small smile. Krell, the once skeptical crystalline being, had volunteered to lead a dangerous mission into the heart of the void itself. Their goal was to plant quantum beacons that, if successful, would allow them to invert the void's energy and seal the rift between realities. A sudden commotion near the sensor array caught Zora's attention. "What is it?" she asked, striding over to the station. The Araxian operator looked up, his scaled face pale with shock. "We're detecting a massive energy surge from within the void. It's like nothing we've ever seen before." Before Zara could respond, the view outside shifted dramatically. The inky blackness of the void seemed to part like a curtain, revealing a sight that made even the battle-hardened crew gasp in awe and terror. A being of impossible scale emerged from the nothingness. It was vaguely humanoid in shape, but composed entirely of swirling dark energy. Stars and entire galaxies could be seen trapped within its form, slowly being consumed. By the cosmic winds, Nautilus's voice boomed through the ship's comm system. "It's the avatar of the void." Zara's mind reeled. In all their preparations, they had never anticipated facing a personification of the void itself. She could feel waves of despair and hopelessness radiating from the crew around her. But then, as if in answer to this ultimate threat, another miracle occurred. The quantum beacons that Krell's team had risked everything to plant suddenly activated. Streams of energy burst forth from the void, coalescing into familiar shapes. "Impossible," Lex breathed, genuine emotion coloring the AI's usually monotone voice. But Zara saw it too. Emerging from the void were beasts, hundreds of them, perhaps thousands, the long-lost siblings of Lumina, Nautilus, and the others, awakening from their ancient slumber within the very heart of nothingness. A new voice, one that Zara had never heard before, but somehow knew intimately, echoed through her mind and the minds of every being present. "Children of the cosmos," it said, its tone both ancient and newborn, "we are the first beast, the progenitor of all. We have slumbered within the void, containing its spread, waiting for the day when the galaxy would be ready to face this threat united." Zara felt a surge of understanding and purpose flood through her. Without conscious thought, she found herself moving towards the airlock. Lumina was already there, waiting for her. As Zara mounted her faithful companion, she turned to address the stunned crew. "This is it," she said, her voice carrying an authority that belied her young age. "Everything we fought for, everything we've sacrificed, it all comes down to this moment. No matter what happens, I want you all to know that it has been the greatest honor of my life to fight alongside you." With those words, she and Lumina launched into space, joining the ranks of beasts old and new. The avatar of the void loomed before them, a cosmic giant poised to snuff out all of existence. But Zara felt no fear. As she raised her hand, channeling the combined power of every beast, every guardian, and every sentient being fighting for survival, she knew that they would prevail. The galaxy had united in a way never before seen, transcending boundaries of species, ideology, and even reality itself. A beam of pure creation burst forth from Zara and the assembled beasts, meeting the void avatar's dark energy head-on. The resulting clash sent shockwaves through reality itself, rearranging stars and rewriting the very laws of physics. For what seemed like an eternity, the two forces remained locked in stalemate. But slowly, inexorably, the light began to push back the darkness. The avatar of the void let out a silent scream as it was driven back, its form unraveling and dispersing into harmless energy. As the last vestiges of the void dissipated, a profound silence fell over the battlefield. Then, gradually, cheers and cries of jubilation erupted from every ship, every planet, every corner of the galaxy that had borne witness to this cosmic event. Zara floated in space atop Lumina, tears of joy and exhaustion streaming down her face. They had done it. Against all odds, they had saved not just their galaxy, but all of existence. As the beasts began to disperse, returning to their age-old task of nurturing life throughout the cosmos, Zara knew that nothing would ever be the same. The galaxy had seen what it could accomplish when united, and the old boundaries and conflicts seemed petty in comparison. A new era was dawning, one of cooperation and shared purpose. And at its heart would be the guardians and their beasts, not as rulers, but as protectors and guides for this new galactic civilization. As Zara and Lumina turned back towards the celestial aegis, ready to begin the monumental task of rebuilding and redefining their society, Zara couldn't help but smile. The universe was vast and full of wonders, and now, thanks to their efforts, countless generations would have the chance to explore it. The little girl who once gazed at the stars from a space station had grown into something far greater, a symbol of hope, unity, and the indomitable spirit of life itself. And as she looked out at the glittering expanse of their saved galaxy, Zara knew that the greatest adventures still lay ahead. The end of one chapter, but the beginning of an even greater story.